You must get away. Should you run? Should you hide? Oh, oh, oh. You must find a way. Climb a tree, a bush, or maybe faith. We'll send a sign on the underground railroad line. Faith.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. We're so glad to have you. I hope you enjoy Freedom Star, Gertie's Journey on the Underground Railroad.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a performance by the Eulenspiegel Puppets and Mr. Ron Hillis.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Today's show is about good and evil. It's about hope and slavery. Now, Ron, I know everybody in the audience knows the difference between good and evil. And I know that they all know what hope is, but supposing there was somebody out there that didn't understand what slavery was, how would you explain it to them?
You can own a toy when young, and owning things may seem like fun, but look around and you may see sometimes it can cause misery.
When you look into the eyes of a pet, now realize. Just imagine for a day if you were owned in such a way. So slavery is when one person has the legal right to own another person?
Yes, like Gertie, the girl in our story. She and her mother are owned by a farmer down in Missouri.
They belong to a farmer?
Mm-hmm. People are not to be owned, but once they were, and it's been shown that it can cause great misery, this thing that they call slavery. When a person's bound by chains, life is bitter, cruel, and strange. Families were ripped apart, sometimes an owner had no heart.
So, Ron, are you saying that it was legally okay for a slave owner to split families up and sell them off to different places?
Yes, as a matter of fact, Gertie's mother got sold. She will never see her again.
Her mother got sold? How could something that awful happen in this country?
Slavery used to be around for those whose skin was black or brown. And here's a tale that might be true as we step back to take a view. In the South, when it was night, a slave would disappear from sight. Run away, start life anew, a bold and risky thing to do.
So is Gertie going to run away?
Yes, as a matter of fact, she's running away tonight.
Tonight? Will she make it all the way up to Canada where she can be free?
I don't know. It'll be very dangerous. There'll be slave hunters, bounty hunters out looking for her.
Oh, that's awful. Wait a minute, Ron. You just said tonight.
Yeah?
Is this story happening right now, or did this happen a long time ago?
This tale happened long ago, but not so long we shouldn't show that things that were so bad back then should not return to us again. Big doings in the woods tonight. Men on horseback, men on foot. A young slave escaping from that farm down by the river. That's her, Gertie. If she could only make it up the river and into Iowa and then north into Canada, she'd be free. Listen. Don't hear the dogs. That's good. If they were to catch her, they would beat her within an inch of her life. She's got to find her conductor, the one who will take her to the Underground Railroad. It's not a real train. It's a secret way to freedom. Listen, horses. Those men look mean, but they're not after Gertie, no. And that's John Brown, the famous abolitionist. He knows it's wrong for one person to own another, and he's willing to do something about it. Ah, that'd be her conductor. That's the signal.
Oh, are you? Oh, you must be Gertie. I'm Mr. Silas. How do you do, Mr. Silas? Thank you for helping me. You're a very brave girl, Gertie. I don't feel very brave. Come along now, child. We got to get you on the boat. Boat? But I don't know how to swim. You don't have to swim. You used to have to stay out of sight. The captain's on our side. But you never know about the rest of them passengers. Come along now. This Underground Railroad moves mighty fast. Railroad? I thought I was going on a boat. You are. The boat is your way out of Missouri. You're going to Iowa. Iowa. But how do I know I can trust that man? How do I know he's not a bounty hunter and he'll take me back and get a whole lot of money for me? Gertie, come along now, child. I've got to take a chance to be free. Coming, Mr. Silas. Oh, Gertie. You see that boat over there in the distance? That's your boat. Ain't she a beaut? Oh, she is beautiful, Mr. Silas. But how will I know when to get off the boat? You will be getting off in Nebraska City. Nebraska City. And what do I do then? The folks there will help you get to Tabor, Iowa. Tabor, Iowa. And in Tabor, Gertie, you can go to any house on the square. Any house on the square. Come along now, child. Oh, look. The sky's dark. I hope there's not going to be a storm. Coming, Mr. Silas. It's a slave girl. And I'm gonna catch her. There's a storm on the water tonight. There's a storm on the water tonight. All the fish swim low towards the bottom so they won't hear that dreadful sound. There's a storm and the sky is all lit. Lightning above us has got quite a kick. Don't you start to slip, stay with this little ship. Good times are bound to come around. Oh, can't you hear the wind blow? Can't you hear the storm howl? Like a wildcat's meow. Pray as we go on our way for the world to be right as we float through the night.
There's a storm on the water tonight. There's a storm on the water tonight.
Waves crashing by my boat, hope I can stay afloat. I don't think that I can swim. I see the bank, but it looks far away.
But I would give for a bright sunny day.
And if I were to slip off of this little ship, what a mess I would be.
Oh,
Can't you hear the wind blow?
can't you hear the storm howl?
Like a wildcat's meow.
Pray
As we go on our way,
for the world to be right.
as we flow through the night.
There's a storm on the water tonight, but now I see
that the end is in sight. The water will calm down. There's now a fainter sound. Something tells me we'll be okay.
We can breathe a bit easier now. The storm and its fury will soon take a bow.
The stars will soon shine bright
In
the dark of night as the owls come out to play.
Oh, can't you hear the wind blow?
Can't you hear the storm howl?
Like a wildcat's meow. Pray
As we go on our way, for the world to be right, as we flow through the night.
Gertie got up the river just in time. Listen. Oh, it's that bounty hunter. This is not good. This is not good at all.
There's a slave girl, and I'm gonna catch her. Oh no. Oh no. I think someone's following me. Oh no. Oh, oh boy. Catch up to her! I'll catch her and then I'll be rich. Oh no. I better find some place to hide. Oh look! A hollow tree. Oh, maybe I can get inside. Oh no, I ripped my dress. Oh well, never mind. Ha! Look at what I found. Look. Ha ha! This belongs to her. Now I'll catch her for sure. Oh, look, there's a town up ahead. That must be Tabor. Oh, they said I could go to any house on the square. I hope somebody's home. Oh, for pity's sake, Rover. Will you settle down? Oh, for pity's sake. Oh, I will be there in just a minute. That's That's a good boy. I'll be there in a minute with the lantern. Don't you worry. Oh, here. Just have to get into my bathrobe. There. There. Now. Is anybody at the door? Oh, yes, it's me, ma'am. Oh, my, it's a child. Don't you worry, child. You just settle down. You'll be perfectly safe here. I've hidden many people. Oh, thank you, ma'am. But I must ask you something. Is anybody following you? Oh, yes, and I think it's a bounty hunter, and I think he's right behind me. We'd best get you hidden right away. You go straight down those stairs, child. Thank you, ma'am. And at the bottom of the stairs, you'll see a bookcase. You just push on that bookcase, and you'll see what to do. Oh, for pity's sake, down, Rover. Who's at the door now? I saw a light shining in your window, and I think you're hiding an escaped slave. Well, I was. You was? Yes. She left here an hour ago with John Brown. John Brown, the famous abolitionist. If I catch him, I'll be rich. Why, you low-down, good-for-nothing Rover. Rover, come here. I need you. Sick 'em, Rover. Get that lousy, good-for-nothing mutt away from me. You can come up now, child. Are you sure, ma'am? Are you sure he's gone? Oh, yes. I sent him on a wild goose chase. Oh, thank you, ma'am. But you must be very hungry. Oh, I am. Well, I have a nice pot of stew. We'll just set it bubbling on the stove. Thank you, ma'am.
That lady from Tabor, now she was pretty tricky. In order to conceal Gertie, she went and got a great big box.
What? Really? You want me to get into this box? Well, I guess I could try. It's a perfect fit.
And then she went and took that box over to the stagecoach station, where it was put on top of a stagecoach with a whole bunch of other boxes. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever actually ridden on a stagecoach before, but, you know, with wooden wheels and on old dirt roads and all that. But I can tell you this, it was a bumpy ride. It's a bumpy ride on a stagecoach, and it's always hot or cold. The roads ain't soft unless they're mud, and then there's all those changes in the weather. And I'm sitting up on the top as the horses go clippity-clop, and the passengers yak. There's my aching back. It's a hard job that I do. Oh, here comes another big old bump.
Wow!
Hope that all the luggage stays around. There's nothing harder than wheels made out of wood, and my teeth may rattle loose if I don't slow down. Well, the horses, they are moody and sometimes downright mean. They sometimes bite or raise a hoof when I'm just trying to hitch 'em up and take off, and mosquitoes bite my ears and have for all these years. Oh, the work is tough and my hands are rough. It's a hard job that I do. Oh, here comes another big old bump.
Wow!
Hope that all the luggage stays around. There's nothing harder than wheels made out of wood, and my teeth may rattle loose if I don't slow down. Well, I hope I tied that luggage down so nothing does get loose. Sometimes things shift when the road's like this, and I can't hardly see for it's so dusty. And then I hear something drop, and everything's still on top. Oh, and on behind I'm about half blind. It's a hard job that I do. Oh, here comes another big old bump.
Whoa!
Hope that all the luggage stays around. There's nothing harder than wheels made out of wood, and my teeth may rattle loose if I don't slow down.
Whoa! Boy, oh boy! Whew. That red box sure is heavy. I wonder what's in it. Oh well, never mind. Here we are in Lewis, Iowa. Yoo-hoo. 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 Anybody up there? Oh boy. Wow. Whew. Now that was one bumpy ride. Wow. I thought somebody was going to meet me here, but I don't see anybody. I guess I'd better just wait and see. Hello. Oh! Now don't be afraid. You're the package that Reverend Hitchcock sent me to meet. Oh. Well, how do you do? My name is Gertie. How do you do, Gertie? My name is Samuel. Samuel? If I'm the package you're supposed to meet, then you probably know what I'm supposed to do next. That's just it, Gertie. What is? You were supposed to come to our house, but now you can't. I can't? Why not? There's a bounty hunter watching the house. Oh, I knew it! Come back, Gertie. Are you sure, Samuel? Are you sure it's safe? Mother promised she'd keep him distracted while I tell you what to do next. What do I do next? I'm afraid you have to go through the woods tonight. Alone? Well, I wish I could come with you, but if the bounty hunter sees I'm gone, he'll know I'm with you and he'll catch us both. Oh, I guess that wouldn't be so good, would it? So, how will I know how to get through the woods? Just go north, Gertie. And every time you come to a fork, take the north fork. But how will I know which way is north? Look at the sky, Gertie. Look for the Big Dipper. Oh, the North Star, of course I know about that. And what do I do then? When you get to the other side of the woods, Gertie, you'll see a little cottage that has a fence in front of it with a quilt hanging on the fence. That's Emma Hanson's house. She'll take good care of you. Emma Hanson. Oh, Samuel, I don't know if I can do this. I know you can, Gertie. You've come this far and you're really brave. Just continue on your journey. Leave your troubles far behind. You can look ahead to freedom. It will ease your worried mind. 'Cause the past is done, forget it. You've got better things to do. There's a light that's so much brighter, and it shines for me and you. For it is freedom that I want, and it is freedom that I choose. I've walked barefoot for so long, I've got to have those freedom shoes. Freedom shoes to go the distance, freedom shoes worth more than gold. Want to wear them in the sunshine now, before I get too old. You must travel out of bondage and must find another place where I know you'll be a person who is proud to show her face. For it is freedom shoes I'm wanting that will last the whole way through. And those freedom shoes I'm seeking, friend, would also fit you too. For it is freedom that I want, and it is freedom that I choose. I've walked barefoot for so long, I've got to have those freedom shoes. Freedom shoes to go the distance, freedom shoes that travel far. Want to wear them in the sunshine before I get too old. Okay, Samuel, I think I can do it now. I'll show you the way, Gertie. I'll go check and see if the coast is clear. I'll let you know. If I can only find the pathway that will lead me out of here, I will wear those shoes of freedom, and I'll say goodbye to fear. Gertie, coast is clear. Coming, Samuel. Samuel. Samuel, show me the way. I'm closing in on her. Oh, boy. Look at that. Is this my lucky day, or is this my lucky day? Look what I found. She's been in this box. I know what I'll do. I'll take it with me. And when I catch her, I'll put her in it. Oof. Ugh. It's awful heavy. Ugh. What did they make it out of? Rocks? Ooh. Ow! Duck inside, freeze your step or be real fast. If it works, you're free at last. Mice can hide because they're small. Raccoons climb a tree that's tall. Deer can run or be real still. Porcupines, they've got that quill. You must get away. Should you run? Should you hide? Oh, 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 you must find a way, climb a tree, be a bush, or maybe face. We'll send a sign on the underground railroad line. What's that noise behind you now? A baying dog or just a cow? Watch that big log, don't you trip when climbing trees, don't lose your grip. A new life you have begun, but running scared is sure no fun. Keep your wits, you'll be alright. This railroad travels through the night.
You must get away. Should you run? Should you hide? Oh, 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 you must find a way. Climb a tree, be a bush, or maybe faith. We'll send a sign on the underground railroad line.
There's a place you'll know the sign up ahead where you'll be fine. You've done well and learned real good from the creatures in the wood. They were smarter than you thought to stay alive and not be caught. Freedom's footsteps led you on. The woodland creatures sing your song.
You must get away. Should you run? Should you hide? Oh, oh, oh. You must find a way. Climb a tree, a bush, or maybe faith. We'll send a sign on the underground railroad line. Faith, we'll send a sign on the underground railroad line.
Look! Look! I think I see a cottage. Oh, and there's a fence in front of it. And there's a quilt hanging on the fence. This has got to be the place that Samuel was talking about. Oh, I hope somebody's home. Hoo, 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 hoo. Hoo, 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 hoo. Oh my, it's a child. Come in quickly, child. Ma'am, are you Mrs. Emma Hanson? Yes, child. What's your name? My name is Gertie. You can stay here as long as you like, Gertie. I've hidden many people. You'll be perfectly safe here. Oh, thank you, ma'am. That's so kind. Gertie, come all the way in the house. You don't have to stand here in the entryway. Oh, thank you, ma'am. You must be plumb tuckered out. Oh, I am. I've been running all night. Well, sit down, child, for pity's sake. Oh, thank you, ma'am. That feels ever so much better. Ma'am, would it be forward of me to ask you, do you live in this little house in the woods all by yourself? Well, I do sometimes, but I do have a husband and a son. Oh? And where are they, if that's not too nosy? Oh, they're in the Kansas territory. Kansas? Isn't that awfully far away? Yes, it is, Gertie, but you see, we're free staters. What's a free stater? Well, soon Kansas will become a state, and when it does, the people that live there can vote to make it a free state or a slave state. If enough people like us who hate slavery live there, it will become a free state. Oh, I hope that happens, Mrs. Hanson. So do I. But why aren't you in Kansas with your husband and your son? Well, some of us have to stay here, Gertie, to provide safe houses for people like you, and supplies for people like my husband and John Brown. John Brown? I've heard about that man, John Brown. He's the one that gave me the courage to run away. So, you've met John Brown? Oh, no, ma'am. But I heard that he helped some people escape from some nearby farms. And when I heard that, I decided I would run away too and follow them. John Brown would be very proud of you, child. I wish I could meet John Brown. Well, just a minute, child. He's here? Oh, no, child. But you see, last year, my students and I did a puppet show about John Brown. I will introduce you to the puppet. Oh, you're a teacher? Oh, yes. And my students and I have lots of fun together. Here, introducing Mr. John Brown. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. So that's what John Brown looks like. Ma'am, I recognize that song you were humming. Well, in that case, we'll put the puppet away and get out my guitar, and we'll sing it together. You play a guitar too, ma'am? Oh, Gertie, we teachers have to have a lot of tricks up our sleeves. Now, you go sit in the student chair. Oh, this must be the student chair. I've never been a student before. Oh, and I'll get my guitar. Oh dear, it's sadly out of tune, isn't it? I guess I've been neglecting it. Oh dear. Well, I'll get it tuned up in a moment, child. And then we'll sing the song. There. Are you ready? Tell me, friends, have you been there and have you met John Brown? A handshake like a bear trap, he would never let you down. He has caused some men to die and many more to live. A soldier in a noble cause, everything must give. Tell me, friends, have you been there to look in John Brown's eyes? The fire that burns within them could never be disguised. A man so filled with passion, he strikes a mighty blow. He lit the match that lit the fire with such a hellish glow. Tell me, friends, have you been there to know what John Brown did? The fights he fought for freedom, the refugees he hid. A man who makes the country shake and words can hardly tell. The vision of a holy man who dares to step in hell. Tell me, friends, have you been there and have you met John Brown? A handshake like a bear trap, he would never let you down. He has caused some men to die and many more to live. A soldier in a noble cause, everything must give. That was wonderful, ma'am. I wish I could be a student in your school. Gertie, when you get to Canada, you just might be able to go to school every day. Oh, then I could find out where I'm going and where I've been. You can find that out right now, Gertie. Come with me. We'll get the map and I'll show you. Map? What's a map, ma'am? Here. This is a map, Gertie. You take it and unroll it while I find my pointer, and then we'll show you. Oh, look. Oh. Oh. A map is sort of like a picture, isn't it, ma'am? That's right, Gertie. That map is a picture of the way Iowa would look if you were a bird looking at it from the top. Oh, just a moment. As soon as I find my pointer, I'll show you. There. There. Now, do you see that blue line there, that blue stripe? I do, ma'am. That's the Missouri River. I know all about the Missouri River. That's how I came into the state of Iowa. And that red line there, that is the Jim Lane Trail. That is the path that the abolitionists are using to get across the state of Iowa and go to Kansas. They travel from east to west. But you, Gertie, are traveling from west to east. And what's that sparkly spot? Oh, that's called Springdale. That will be your last stop in the state of Iowa. And then I'll be in Canada? Not quite, Gertie. But the folks in Springdale will help you get across the states of Illinois and Michigan. And then you'll get to Detroit and you'll get on a boat. And when you get off the boat, I'll be in Canada. That's right, Gertie. But enough school for today. You put the map away and I'll go fix us something to eat. Oh, thank you, ma'am. Let's see. Here we go.
Well, Gertie rested in the little house in the woods and got ready for her trip across the state of Iowa. She knew it would be dangerous, but that there would be lots of folks ready to assist her. So she rested and had a meal, and at night she started out. And then rested by daytime. Finally, she has arrived at the home of Mrs. Havercorn in the Quaker village of Springdale. Now, Springdale just also happens to be the headquarters of that famous abolitionist, John Brown. And John Brown has made arrangements for a train, a real train, to take a boxcar of slaves from West Liberty, Iowa, to Chicago. Gertie must be on that train.
Oh, thank you so much, Mrs. Havercorn. You've been ever so kind to me. I wish you could stay here forever, child. I wish I could too. But thee knows that's not safe, doesn't thee? Yes, I do, ma'am. Now, does thee remember what comes next? I think so. We meet John Brown and the others in West Liberty at the depot. And then we get on the train, and the train will take us to Chicago, child. That's right, Chicago. And then to Detroit. That's right, child. And in Detroit, we'll get on a boat, and when we get off the boat, we'll be in Canada. That's right, child. Child, wait here. I have a present for thee. A present for me? It's something thee's been wanting, child. I hope it fits thee. Oh, ma'am. Are those my freedom shoes? That's right, child. Try them on while I fetch thy other present. Another present? Yes, I'll be right back, child. Oh, I've never worn shoes before. Oh, I guess I best try them on. Let's see. Here we go. Left foot. Heel, oh, left foot, and now right foot, toe, heel, ooh, my. Oh, look, they fit. They feel a little strange. Oh, they're beautiful. Why, I could just sit here and look at them all day long. I hope thy shoes fit thee, child, and I hope thee likes thy other present. Oh, Mrs. Havercorn, it's a cape, and it looks brand new. It is brand new. I made it just for thee. Oh, and it's so warm. Thee will need it. It gets very cold in Canada. Colder than Iowa? Much colder. Now, child, if thee's ready, we'd best be going. I'm ready, Mrs. Havercorn. Goodbye, Springdale.
I'm closing in on her. I know she's been here. It's just a matter of time. And there she is. Get out of my way, you old bat. You leave her alone. Get out of my way, I said. you little vixen! No, no, please, please don't hit me! Don't hit me, no! Ha! 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 I knew I'd catch her sooner or later. Take her back, and I'm gonna get me a whole bunch of money. I'm gonna be rich! I'm gonna be rich, 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 rich! Hey, Bird! How come you're following me? Get away from me, Bird! What do you want? Hey! Hey, quit following me, Bird! You're getting awful close! I don't like the look of that beak! Get away from me! I said, get away from me! Hey! What do you want, anyway? You want the girl? You can have her. Slave girls are a dime a dozen. There you go. Ha. That can take care of that. You'll leave me alone now. Ow! Ow! Hey, hey, let go of me. Hey, let go, I said. Let go of me, you. Let go. Ah! Child, is thee all right? Child, speak to me. Gertie, Gertie, can thee walk? Is thee all right? Oh, thank God. Oh, Gertie, can thee tell me what happened? I don't know, Mrs. Havercorn. That bad man, first he came and he knocked you down. And then he started hitting me. Then he picked me up. And he started running away from me, with me. And then all of a sudden, this big owl came down out of the sky. And I'm not sure what happened then. Never thee mind, child. Does thee feel well enough to travel? I do. Well, we'd best get to the station then. Goodbye, Iowa. I'm going to Canada. There's a different sun than I have seen before. And it's a different world I've passed through freedom's door. Friends have shown the way, I sure won't let them down. It may be a different sun, but its light shines all around. There's a different dew that's on the morning grass. I've never breathed so deep, I've never run so fast.
Freedom took my way and dropped it by the road. There's no ropes to bind my hopes, let the sunlight shine like gold. There's a different sun than I have seen before. And it's a different world I've passed through freedom's door. Friends have shown the way, I sure won't let them down. It may be a different sun, but its light shines all around.
Thank you, kids. Thank you. Thank you. Whoops. If we have a few minutes, I would like to tell you a little bit about that story and how much and what kind of story it is and how much of it is true. It's what's called historical fiction. And that means it's a made-up story, but it's a made-up story that's based on things that really happened, and that it has lots of things in it that really happened or really could have happened, because they happened. The girl Gertie, the main girl in the story, she's made up. But there were plenty of people like her that escaped from farms in Missouri. And when she says to Mrs. Hanson that John Brown gave her courage to leave because she heard about John Brown freeing some slaves from some nearby farms, that's absolutely true. In December of 1858, John Brown and his men raided 3 farms in Missouri and freed 11 slaves. And most of them were women and children, and one of them was a very, very pregnant mom. And he took them all the way across the state of Iowa to Springdale, which is very close to here. It's just a few miles from West Branch. And then he put them on a train in West Liberty, which is the town that our puppetry center is in, and sent them off to Chicago and to Detroit, where they got on a boat and ended up in Canada. And it's the only example that's been written down anyway of the train, of the actual train being part of the Underground Railroad. So when we found out that that happened in our very town, we decided we had to put it into a puppet show. Gertie wasn't really in that group, but she was the 13th one in our imaginations. And she made the trip across the state of Iowa the way a lot of escaped slaves did. All of the ways that Gertie traveled are really honestly ways that slaves traveled. Coming up the Missouri River on a steamboat wasn't real common because most of the steamboat captains were in favor of slavery, so they wouldn't have hidden slaves. But there were some who were abolitionists and didn't believe in slavery that would have hidden slaves in their boat. And Gertie was lucky enough to be on one of those. Traveling on the stagecoach in a box by the U.S. mail, that was something that in very desperate circumstances a few slaves did. They mailed themselves. Going through the woods at night with nothing to tell them the way except for the stars, that was very, very common. And so most of the way, every way that she traveled was something that either happened a lot or happened now and then or happened once in the case of the train. The people that helped her along the way, when we were writing this story, do you guys know what the conductors are on the Underground Railroad? They're the people that help. I really wanted one of the conductors to be African American, but the man that was helping us with our research that knows more about the Iowa Underground Railroad than anybody else I can think of, he said, no, you can't do that. And I asked why, and he said because it wouldn't have been safe for anybody with brown skin to stay that close to the Missouri border. Because even if they weren't slaves, a bounty hunter could still come and take them back, even if they weren't slaves. And that was the other thing. You can probably guess the one thing in the story that has no historical basis as far as I know. Can anybody guess what that was? Yeah? The owl, when the owl took the bounty hunter away. The reason that we decided to do that was we knew we had to get rid of the bounty hunter because we didn't want any of you guys to leave worried and thinking, oh, is the bounty hunter going to follow her and get on the train with her and blah, blah. So my first thought was, well, let's just have the sheriff arrest the bounty hunter. And then we read a little bit more history and we realized that we couldn't do that because what the bounty hunter did was not against the law. Even though slavery was against the law in Iowa, if a bounty hunter or a slave catcher wanted to come from another state where slavery was legal and catch somebody and take them back, that was not against the law. That was perfectly legal. Isn't that awful? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's why we had to have the owl save Gertie instead. And the owl is in a lot of people's folklore, the owl can be a guiding spirit and can be a helper. So we thought, and the Iowa woods, of course, are full of that particular kind of owl, the barred owl that goes hoo, 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 hoo. So at night, if you ever hear that hoo, 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 you'll know that that's one of the descendants of the owl that saved Gertie. Ron wrote all of the music for the show, including the words to the music.
Thank you.
And I made all of the puppets and the scenery. And the scenery, those are actually the woods that I live in. Thank you. And if we have time, we could take a few questions if anybody has questions about the story or the puppets or the music. Do we have time for that?
Have to check
Got to
with
get
the
this off
teachers.
my head, but I'll put it like that.
It's 3:02.
Do we have time, teachers? We have a few minutes? Okay, how about you? Oh, you mean the shadow stuff? The stuff in shadow? Those are called shadow puppets. And they're on an overhead projector. How many of you guys know what an overhead projector are? Or have they disappeared to such an extent that you don't know about them anymore? Yeah, don't let anybody throw your overhead projectors away. You may not use them in the classroom anymore for most purposes, but they're really good for puppetry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the overhead projector and show you that last scene, and then I'll show you what it actually looks like in real life. So this is the last scene where the sun comes up. And this is what it actually looks like. So the overhead projector makes it a whole lot bigger. And it's a really nice way, it's a really easy way to do some puppets and have some effects. The big thing you have to do is stay out of the light. You got to be either behind it or way off to one side so you're not, because if you stand too close to it, this is what happens. And you don't want that. Oh, wait, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do this. Anybody else have a question? How about... Well, they're all pointing at you, okay. Well, it would depend. I mean, it depends what time of year it was and so on and so forth. But I do know that it took that group of 11 slaves and John Brown and his men, I know that it took them from right before Christmas in December until March. And I think they went faster than a lot of people because the slaves didn't have to hide out all the time because they had John Brown and his men who were some pretty fierce people. They had them protecting them, so they could travel faster than most slaves. Most slaves would not have been able to make it in 2 months like that, or 2.5 months. Okay, there's somebody else that's getting pointed at. Okay, yeah. Pardon? Oh, of course.
What was the question?
How long did it take you to remember all the guitar stuff that you play?
Oh,
Sometimes he makes it up during the show.
Sometimes I do make up some of the stuff during the show. Yeah, that's true. When she's doing actions and things like that, and I'm not playing a song, sometimes I'll just, this will work, but it's the incidental things. If it's I mean,
Ron's been playing guitar for a long time.
I've been playing it for a long time, and I make funny sounds on it sometimes, and I just experiment with it. Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do when you, you learn to play it the right way, and then you learn to do strange things with it.
Okay, I see a hand way up there. Yep. But you're going to have to speak up a little more. Yeah, it's an owl. That was right, yeah. Pardon, I can't quite hear that. Can you say that again? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's just it. The bounty hunters a lot of times did catch people and take them back. There's a lot of really interesting history about the Underground Railroad period, and there's a lot about the Underground Railroad in Iowa. And part of it depended on just local residents. If they were against slavery, Iowa had a lot of abolitionists in it, that people that were opposed to slavery. And one reason they were in Iowa was because they were on their way to Kansas to help Kansas come in as a free state. And some of the people, the reason that they had to walk across Iowa, a lot of the abolitionists came here from New England. And back in those days, the last stop on the train was Iowa City. And so they would have to, they were building the railroad from the East Coast to the West Coast, and they'd started on both ends, but they hadn't met in the middle yet. And the last stop was Iowa City, so they'd have to get off the train in Iowa City and then walk across Iowa. So there were a lot of abolitionists in those days, some of them who lived here and some of them who were just passing through.
Probably, yeah.
And I think a lot of times those people would take the law into their own hands and get rid of a bounty hunter, you know. Okay, how about you? Yeah. Well, you probably noticed that at one point it fell down. It just sits up there. It's a board. This is called a play board, and I'll pull it out and show you how wide it is. Okay, so that's how wide it is, so things can sit on it. It's very handy, a very handy puppetry device. Okay, I guess that's it then. Thank you. You guys have been a great audience. Thank you.
Tell me, friends, have you been there to know what John Brown did? The fights he fought for freedom, the refugees he hid. A man who makes the country shake and words can hardly tell. The vision of a holy man who dares to step in hell.